Hey, a quick heads up to this 5-minute quickie. Yeah, it's all about calling and passion, but not in the way that we normally think about it. And that's not clickbait. This is just a musing in a different way. And I hope it's going to inspire you to think in a different way too. Have a listen after this. Hey, this is Paul Clough of Personal Development Unplugged, where we deconstruct the complicated and make things simple, with simple processes to make change as easily and as comfortable as we can.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, my friend, how you doing today? Calling. Is calling, in the terms of, your calling to be in this world, the same as passion? Your passion, as in follow your passion. Because so many people talk about, follow your passion, just do everything that's just passionate. But I got confused. And I get confused really easy. So I went on to Google, the lovely Google, and looked for some definitions. So what's the definition of calling? Well, here's one of them. To discover and pursue one's true and inherent passion with skill and vocation. So pursuing your inherent passion, your inherent skill, your inherent vocation. That's what a calling is. So calling does, I guess, in that bit, has passion inherent within it. So bit of the same thing, aren't they? One within the other. So I looked a bit further. Strong inner impulse, especially accompanied by connection to divine influence. But that's getting heavy now. Divine influence? I wonder what that means. What does it mean to you? Divine influence. But it's a strong inner impulse. I got that. I looked again. And then there was one I sort of did like. I like the others, but the urge to share. Share your gifts with the world. And I thought, whoa, share your gifts with the world. Because when you're sharing your gifts with the world, I guess to me, it's like being in the flow when you're really just doing that stuff. And when you're in the flow, pretty passionate, isn't it? It's passion when you're in the flow because you don't realize it. When you're in the flow, you don't realize you're in the flow and you don't realize the passion because it's just passionate. It's good, just good. And maybe that's when you're following you're in your calling, especially when you're sharing things. And I link that in my own little mind to selfless service, which is basically sharing your gifts with the world, expecting nothing in return. Now, you put those two together, that's a hell of a calling, isn't it? Hell of a calling. And the passion just oozes out of that in my mind. I can see little oozes of passion when you share your gifts with the world, expecting nothing in return. So there's so many definitions, isn't there? But you can see how they're, I guess, intertwined. Which one did you like best? Mine, that urge to share, things like sharing podcasts, but that wasn't what it's about. It's sharing your gifts with the world. Sharing what, your gifts to me are the skills, the things that you master. And when you master something, you must have been passionate about it, as you wouldn't bother to learn it. And to be a master, doing what you know, knowing what you do. We talk about that all the time. But that urge to share the gifts with the world, maybe expecting nothing in return, is pretty simple, isn't it? Because they're your gifts, your unique gifts. The thing about this is, sometimes your unique gifts are the ones that come so readily to you, so easy to you, that you don't realize they're gifts because they just come naturally to you. But when others see you do it, they go, wow, I wish I could do that. And as you share that gift, whether it's by explanation, whether it's by talking about it, whether it's just by being the example, inspiring others. And then I thought a little bit deeper because so many definitions. Can I get it even more simple? And basically, I said, you'll find your calling if you just simply do your best, to be your best. Basically, that thing, do what you know and know what you do. to your best ability. Because when you do things to your best ability with that wonderful positive intention, with maybe that sharing your gifts to the world for expecting nothing in return, your calling will find you. You don't have to look for your calling. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. And that's when a lot of people tell you, look, I'm going to show you how to find your calling, because they don't. Your calling finds you. What you want wants you. And you see, when you find things like that, well, when you go to learn things, you follow that intuition, that inherent skill, vocation. That's where you find the passion. And the more you learn, the more skills you get, the more passion you get. And as you get more passionate about these things, you learn, you get better. That's when you get that urge to share. And that's where the calling comes to you. And your passion is found. Your passion finds you. You don't find passion. It finds you. It's there all around you. It's waiting for that little chink to say, let me in. Let me shine within you. It's that, that inner impulse I wrote down. And when you follow that inner impulse, that intuition, taking that massive intuitive action to do the things, just learn more, whatever you learn. And as you learn it and you get more excited, the passion grows, the calling grows, you get to serve it, share your gifts, expecting nothing of return. And that's when you feel so empowered, because you're taking responsibility of being passionate, your calling. And each one of these little things you're doing, learning the skills to share, I think that's your mission, because your mission can change day by day. But your calling is that sharing of the gifts, expecting nothing in return. And when you do that, and we've talked about this before, what a legacy you'll be leaving without intending to leave a legacy, because you're expecting nothing in return. But the thing is, that old law of reciprocity, which I can never say, comes and bites you on the bum and says, this feels good too. Have a dollop of joy, have a dollop of bliss, have a dollop of love all over. Because when you do this, sharing, and I love that thing, the urge to share, isn't that empowering? I've got this urge inside me, which is that inner impulse, isn't it? And your calling finds you. That's just something to think about. I was thinking about it, and I thought, well, I'm going to look deeper into it for me, deeper inside me, to find out those things that I can learn even more and keep sharing it with you. This is in some ways, my selfless service, because I don't expect anything in return. I would love you to share this podcast. I'd like you to go to paulcloughonline.com, sign up for the free hypnosis. That's another way of me sharing. So that's /podcast. But I'd also like you to look at my premium products in theirs too, because obviously that's what I do. But if you don't, and you get something from this and you share it with somebody else, your gifts with the world, then we've both done it. And then we get to pay it forward. And then all of a sudden, our little community around us just gets better. And then my community and your community, they just burst forth with even more. That's what we're here for, I think. Anyway, something to muse on your day until the next time. And if there's anything that in this that you've mused about, I'd love to hear about it. What came to mind? What thoughts, what intuitions, what things inspired you and your calling and the passion that found you? I'd love to hear about it. Please email me, feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. Be awesome if you did. I'd just love to hear how you're finding your calling, because the calling finds you. You're finding your passion because your passion found you. And what you did with it, I'd love to hear. Feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com only comes to me because I'm the only bugger here. Anyway, time to fly, my friends, and muse. Ta-da.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.